Chapter 1. Monomaniacs for God. It seems absurd to say we have forgotten God, when God is on our lips so much of the time. While the numbers are slightly down from previous decades, Americans worship, pray, read their Bibles, and say in polls that religion is very important, significantly more than do people in other developed nations. If anything, evangelicals talk about God so much that many in the culture are sick of our God talk, especially when God's name is invoked in the public square to support one political cause or another. So how can I say we have forgotten God? Let me begin in part 1 by picturing what the church looks like when it hasn't forgotten God. From there, I will look specifically at how evangelicalism has slowly but surely displaced God from the center of its attention. In part 2, I will look at the state of the evangelical church, starting with a 3-chapter argument that critiques the most prominent view of the church, while suggesting an alternative. After that, I'll show how in each aspect of church life, worship, preaching, small groups, and so forth, we are tempted to cast our eyes away from God and upon ourselves. In part 3, I'll suggest some of the contours of a life of utter devotion to God, as well as some ways we might begin that long and hard and fruitful journey. But first, what a church that hasn't forgotten God looks like. To put it succinctly, a church that has not forgotten God exhibits one principal characteristic: a desire for God. A desire so intense it sometimes looks like drunkenness or even madness. The first place to go looking for a picture of this passion is Scripture. Desire from beginning to end. The most vivid example of such desire is King David. David was known as a man of action, a military leader, a nation's king, busy with the affairs of state. He is also famous for his extramarital affair with Bathsheba and the subsequent murder of her husband. But the one characteristic that seems to have earned him the label of a man after God's own heart, Acts chapter 13, verse 22, was that he sought God wholeheartedly. Psalm 63 expresses this most eloquently. O God, you are my God. I earnestly search for you. My soul thirsts for you. My whole body longs for you in this parched and weary land where there is no water. I have seen you in your sanctuary and gazed upon your power and glory. Your unfailing love is better than life itself. How I praise you. I will praise you as long as I live, lifting up my hands to you in prayer. You satisfy me more than the richest feast. I will praise you with songs of joy. Psalm 63, verses 1 through 5. Believing that God's presence was especially to be found in the temple, David also prayed, "The one thing I ask of the Lord, the thing I seek most, is to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, delighting in the Lord's perfections and meditating in his temple." Psalm 27, verse 4. Of course, David isn't the only psalmist to yearn for God's palpable presence. Psalm 42 was written by the descendants of Korah, and famously begins, "As the deer longs for streams of water, so I long for you, O God. I thirst for God, the living God." Psalm 42, verses 1 and 2. These examples could be multiplied, as any reader of the Psalms knows. The psalmists were driven by a desire to know God, not just to know His will, not just to do His will, not just to be wise, not just to be righteous, but to know God, to be with God, to bask in His presence. Persons of a stoic nature, like me, are tempted to assume such passion is only for highly emotional personalities. Frankly, at times, David and the other psalmists seem like emotional wrecks, either lamenting their sorry state or begging desperately for divine aid, or longing passionately for God. My instinct is to tell them to just calm down. But this over-the-top drive to know and love God is found throughout Scripture, which makes me question my stoicism. For example, we see it also in Isaiah the prophet. "In the night I search for you. In the morning I earnestly seek you." Chapter 26, verse 9.